comes to their bookkeeping?
Yeah, so you have to understand accounting as a whole. Accounting is the big umbrella that goes over everything, and accounting is really broken up into three parts. You've got your bookkeeping, which we're going to talk about, usually on a monthly basis at least, and that's where you're going to be able to see what's going on in your business and be able to use those numbers to hopefully make decisions. But your bookkeeper is providing you an income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. They're using a tool like QuickBooks Online, which we'll talk about. And that's their only job. You're not going to them for tax advice or should I be an S Corp? They're there to do your monthly bookkeeping. Then you've got your CPA and you've got your tax person. If you're outside the US, it's called something different, but they're there to help you with tax strategy. They're there to help you with formation. They're there to help you actually file your taxes and get the best refund and help you with deductions. CPAs tend to not be that great with bookkeeping because they're doing books in a way that's correct from a tax standpoint, but not correct or not helpful in a way for you to make decisions. If you take all your expenses and put them together, that's right from a tax standpoint, but doesn't actually help you as the agency owner see what you're spending money on, what you can cut back on or increase. So that's what the CPA is for. And they have their own deadlines too. If you're hiring them for monthly bookkeeping, they're going to get super busy during April, super busy during October. Very hard for them to be in an on-time monthly rhythm, which is what you should demand and expect from your bookkeeper. And then that third piece, you have that CFO, and Ben McAdam, who's a coach here, falls into that category. They're there to look at the bookkeeping and help you make business decisions. Should I spend more on ads? Should I hire more people? What is the strategies I can take? Projecting out cash flow, projecting out sales. That's where the CFO comes into place. And each of these three categories is very different, and they might overlap a little bit. Like our bookkeepers, they know tax, but they're not going to give you tax advice. And the CPA might be able to do bookkeeping, but their main focus is tax. So you want to keep each three in their own lanes. The CFO usually comes into place when you're over $5 million a year. They could be fractional, outsourced, part-time, full-time, whatever. But at the very least, you need a good CPA and a good bookkeeper, and they should be in communication and on the same page at all times. And that's really the beginning of your finance team, having two minds working together to help you get the accurate numbers and file the right taxes.
I think it's such an important distinction because I do think even ourselves kind of as we were growing, we're like, well, if I've got a CPA, then like that's the person that's going to do this for me. But understanding that there's somebody that needs to look at every transaction and kind of tag it correctly inside of QuickBooks or whatever system you're using. And recognizing if you pay the CPA to do that, they're not going to be able to be on top of it, or they're probably going to put someone from their team on it that's going to charge you significantly more. Can you talk a little bit, and if this is off track, that's fine, just kind of let me know. But can you talk a little bit about the benefits of using like a company like yours versus trying to, use like a sub person within maybe your CPA's team?
Yeah, I mean, CPAs tend to be more expensive if they're doing your bookkeeping. I kind of mentioned they have their own deadlines that it's going to be tough for them to be on time during those months. And a good bookkeeping service is designed to give you information in a format that you can understand and make decisions off of, where a CPA's main goal is to do the books for taxes.
Pay your tax, man. Make sure you don't have any penalties. That's the only thing they're thinking about.
Right. So in all my businesses, even before AccountsBalance, I always had a separate CPA, separate bookkeeper, made sure they communicated on the same page. And usually that is the much better setup.
100%. Could not agree more. And I think just recognizing that, maybe you already knew it, but maybe if you didn't recognize it, like this is an important distinction for you to understand. And then that CFO or that fractional CFO, you said at the $5 million mark for a full-time or just for even a fractional in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very just objective number. I would say usually smaller businesses are not hiring CFOs from my experience, although I'm sure there's plenty of people that want to get a head start to that. I would say once you get over 5 million, it becomes a lot more necessary, especially if you have a more seasonal business, which I'm not necessarily sure that agency owners are. But if you run into situations where you need to be able to project revenue, project cash, interpret the numbers and make decisions, that's more where that CFO comes into play.